I'm not happy with that at all. It's something's causing it to bind up in there is what's happening. You know, either the bore is not right, but that should pop right back, and it's not. Once again, it's locked down inside and will not return. Will not return. Something's not right with that. I'm not happy with that at all. Well, hello, my name's Ralph and welcome back to the channel. It's my time, let's go. Today we're working on the Dragon bike and I'm trying to get my brake lines figured out. Now we're getting rid of the black rubber line, and I've got a longer line here, which is a quite long one that was for a front end, but it enables me to put it in and measure up where I've got to be. So we have to get this old system out is the first thing. So I think I'll start working at that today, get that off, and get our brake light switch off here and just figure out what we got to do, and in case we're short on wires or something like that, we'll make it right. So I've got it figured out here what to use here actually on this, which looks like it's going to be all right. It's about all I can use there to get around that. And I can't get up higher to go around it. I'd like to have a straight shot off it, but I don't have a straight one. So I'll have to look and check and see what I got. So anyway, we're gonna start disassembling, taking some measurements, figuring out what to do. Today we're gonna cut out the plate for the back, get that done while I'm waiting for parts, and we'll move on from there. All right, so we'll just start by releasing some stuff and getting these things off that are all clipped down in here. Pretty well gotta take everything off in order to make it fit. Get that, slide that out of there hopefully. Let's get rid of this. Oh yeah, there's drippy brake fluid everywhere. I used to have boxes of brake line fittings, but over the years I've used them up on things, and I'm actually a little bit shocked this morning when I went to look to see what I had, and I just didn't have stuff. So I've got this little one, and this is what we're going to try and put in this position. Tentatively put that in there so I can see where I can go. And hopefully this brake line should fit right there. It should be just about right. Wish I had one to try on it, but I don't. So if I go there with that one and I put a 1/8 in that, then I need this length to go back to that. Now I have to have room for my brake light switch, so I better get the brake light switch out and put that in first so I can see exactly where this is going to sit and whether I'm going to need, you know, I want to make sure and measure up the brake lines right because they're very expensive and we don't want to make a mistake with them. Okay, so I'm going to do that, disassemble that, get that in there, and we'll take it from there. So I've got my brake light switch there and it's just barely in there. I'm going to have to drill this out and tap it for the 1/8 because it's made for a pipe thread. And I can't order what I need. Not available, not available, not available. But this will help me tell me where I've got to go and how much clearance I'll have with the brake light switch installed. Can't take anything for granted these days. And just a hair more there, okay. Then I'll be able to run up into this. It will be tight and I may have to space it a little bit, but I get a brake line about this long, what I've got measured out here will give me a little bit of extra wiggly room in case I need it. And that will definitely be all right for what I need there. So far, so good. So I need some 1/8 pipe tap ends on that. A 10 mil for up here. Let's measure this stuff up and then I'll get to ordering up what I need. So while we're working on the brakes, I noticed that when I put this master cylinder in and I pressed the pedal, the brake cylinder didn't want to return. Now this has been sitting on the shelf for a long period of time, so it could be crudted up in there, I don't know. It's brand new, it's never been run. But in any case, you know, I could fill it up and pump it up and it would probably be all right, but I know that the cylinder is already sticking in there and it's already pushed down to the bottom of the hole. So what I'm going to do before I do anything is I'm going to put some air to it. I'm going to blow the piston back up so that I can get it out. And we'll have to take it from there and see what goes on. I'm just going to put a little touch of air in there in the bleeder. Not in the bleeder, but in the brake line hole. Probably going to blow some back through there over my face, so I better cover that up just to make sure. I just need a little shot there. There we go. I could feel it click when it went there, so I know that I'm right. I'm just gonna put this extra little rag on there so I don't mark up the front of it. I haven't had very good luck with powder coated things. Get it in place there. Now I know that it's all the way up, so there we go, and it wants to pop out now. For some reason it still is sticky in there, so I'm going to take it all out and clean it. Let's put a little air just to get that piston up, out. The bore looks nice and clean in there. I think it's just more crudded up from sitting than anything. A little tiny bit of .5 on this, and on the O-ring as well. Put that in face down. And they're a little tricky to get started in the bore there sometimes. Something's not right. Something's not right with that. I'm not happy with that at all. It's something's causing it to bind up in there is what's happening. You know, either the bore is not right, but that should pop right back, and it's not. Once again, it's locked down inside and will not return. Will not return. If I shove it right to the bottom, it's going to stay right in there. It's already down there. Locked up. I do have another one if it comes to that, but Jesus. It appears that the bore is not correct. I don't think I have something small enough to go into a 5/8 bore, but I'm going to have a look and see. A pretty small hole. I don't think that will go in there. No. I'm gonna have to try something else now, because it almost appears like they powder coated it and it's not wanting to allow the rubber on the piston to float. Let me have a look at some of my tooling and see what I can figure out just to give that a little scuff out in there and maybe hopefully make that piston work. So I tried my 3-blade there, but it's too big for the hole. So what I've got is a little rod like this with a slot cut in the end of it. I'm just going to put that on the sandpaper. I've got 2 levels of it here to thicken it up a little bit, and we'll just rotate it clockwise. So that's the way it's going to turn in the drill. just keep wrapping it up and we'll put it in our drill. And I'm just going to try and make a light pass through there with it. It's only like a 600 grit, so it's not going to do a whole lot. But if there is any kind of interference there, all right, let's see how that does. It's a good stiff spring in there. Once again, a tiny little bit of .5 on the piston there. There we go. I don't know. Just don't know about that. Not feeling very happy with it. All right, let's try our piston. It's still locking up at the bottom. She's locked right up again. Yeah, something's not right with the bore in there. It shouldn't be hanging up like that. So we're going to try something else here. That has to move freely up and down, up and down, up and down. The first thing you know, I'll step on the brake pedal and that will stick in and won't return. And my brakes will be stuck on. And once again, I'll be in a problem. But even the rubber doesn't seem to want to return on there like it should. It's time for some drastic measures. It almost looks to me as if when this goes on here, there's no room for the rubber to compress in there. And as the spring compresses, it pushes the rubber out even more, and there's, you know, it just puts too much tension on it. So I'm going to dig around and see what I can find there and have a look at some other things and just some things that I can compare and have a look and see where I'm at. So, because I'm not putting that on like that. So I've dug around in my stuff, and I usually keep springs and things just for different applications and such. And this is the one that's in there. And this is the one that I found. Now you can see by looking at the top of it, there's a considerable difference in the size of this area. And if I actually measure it, it'll show me that that one is 462 thou, and this one's down to 430 something. So we're 30 something thou smaller. And you can see when I put the rubber on this, it fits snug on the spring, so it can't compress. And the more I compress and put pressure on it, you know, this doesn't even want to come off, and it should be free on there. So I'm going to use, hopefully this, yeah, that little thing will work. That will still work. Almost a hair too big for it. I can probably work it down in there. A little bit of .5 again. Stuff is gold. So after fooling with this for a long time, I can't get it cleaned out inside. They've powder coated over the inside of it and then tried to jam things in there, and there's just no way to get it out of there. And to top it all off, the ring on the outside of it, which was for your C-clip to hold it in, actually broke right off. More junk. More junk, more junk, more junk. Fortunately enough, I had another master cylinder under my bench, which is a very nice one. I've just put the fitting in it here. It's going to bolt up. It's a brand new one. And I've checked the plunger on it, and the plunger works great. Working just fine in it. I put a little fluid in it. Everything's working the way it should be. So I'm going to go with this master cylinder here. I've had to drill the holes out here 3/8 in order to get the alignment where I need it. I had to take the push rod and shorten it up a little bit because it was a little bit too long, but it does line up with it. So I'm in luck that way. So I've got a new master cylinder again to try and adapt onto it. You know, nothing goes easy. It doesn't seem to for me. I don't know how other people's luck goes, but it seems like every time I try to find something, things don't seem to go too smooth. Now it is parts. It is those forward controls I've had for a long time and God knows where I got them. I probably bought them on a sale somewhere. And they don't just, you know, they're not just perfect alignment. You know, there's a few little things about it that I didn't like on them, and I thought, oh well, you know, I'll use them someday. Well, someday came, and I went to use them, and they're no good, you know. So, but in any case, you know, I've got it fixed. I've gone through it again. We've changed, you know, moved one thing, changed 3 more, like I always say. You know, I had to change the master cylinder, I had to drill 2 holes out, and I had to change the push rod. So, you know, that's 3 things right off the bat that I had to deal with. So change one thing, move 3 more, you know, that's the way it is. But I'm confident now that this is a good master cylinder, and we'll be on our way to getting the brakes on it. So I'm going to go out and install it on the bike, and we'll be done with that part of it. And it's taking the best part of my day dicking around with it, but you know, such is the way it goes. All right, let's go out and put it on. All right, we'll try to get things into place. Real Loctite in there. Okay, I'm going to stick that one in there for now. I'd like to trim that off if I can. Okay, that'll do for now. And we want to get this alignment done on this. We've had to turn this down just a tiny little bit shorter. All right, we have a little bit of play there. I can adjust the rod some yet if I want to. I just try to make sure that everything will line up right before I do my final tightening. Make sure that I'm not hitting anywhere down here. Now when I go to finally put these on, I'll put the blue Loctite to that. Some red on this, you know, get those kind of things. Right now I'm going to see if I can find a little shorter bolt for here, just to dress it up a little bit, but works like it should now. Pretty frustrating when you're trying to fix other things and it doesn't work, but we're getting there now. So one more thing out of the way. I ordered my brake lines this morning, so they should be in here on Friday. It's getting late in the day and it's a beautiful day, so I think I'm going to get out of here and go for a drive and clear my head. I got to clean up this mess, and I've got a mess in the inner shop I got to clean up, but at least now I know where I'm at here. I know this is going to work. One more headache sort of out of the way, I'm hoping. So there, we've got it on there. We've put our new chrome master cylinder on. This one's going to work better. As you can see, it returns and everything, and everything's nice and tight. So we just need to wait for our brake lines to come, and I have to just cut my piece for the rear, my bracket for the rear, and then the brakes should be good to go. Bleed them up, away we go. So I just had my order come in this morning, and I've got the stuff that I need in a different part, so I'm going to go in and start putting my fittings into my brake light switch, getting some of that ready. I've also got my little stop plate here to adjust my kickstand out, and a new 10mm 35-degree unit for that. So we'll start on that stuff and get on our way today and getting them brakes put on. So we'll get our brake pieces mounted here, get them all put into the block before I get it on the bike, because then it's hard to tighten things up and get them locked in. So we're just going to take a minute and we're going to put some thread sealer on them. And these are special ones that they're flared on the end, because this brake tee has brake line type fittings on it. Go. And last but not least, hydraulic switch. drilled the center one out and tapped it out. Let's take the gauge. There we go. There we are. Now our little switch is ready to go in there, so we'll go over and put it on the bike. So we're gonna start routing our brake lines and stuff and getting our switch in there. We've got it all ready to go. And I've noticed that when this brake line goes through here, there's a stainless steel plate here. And there's a cutout at the bottom of it for the brake line to go through. But with the unit going up to where it's going, and we're just gonna quickly kind of set it in place here. Have a look. When it ties up into this, it can rub here on this stainless steel piece. So any kinds of things like that is a chafe point that can cause you problems. So what we've done is taken a piece of 5/16 fuel line, and we're gonna put that around it in that area. And it just fits the hose nice. So we're gonna, a couple little tie wraps just to hold her tight. These ones will lock the rubber onto the hose so it doesn't slide around. Just snip those off. And then I've got a piece of just this corrugated sort of stuff, and we're going to slide that up over it. And that'll just fit there nice. And again, a couple little tie wraps, lock it in place. Now we should be able to slide that through there. Once it's in position, and you can see that it's giving it some protection here and it won't move at all, and everything's in place, and that will just keep it from rubbing there. Better to be that kind of little stuff there, just to be sure if it chafes, it won't have a problem. So this looks like it's going to go into position all right. And now I've got to get my other brake line and make sure that my 30-inch is going to go up to the front, where I'm trying to get it to hook into the rear side of the master cylinder up here. So I'll grab my brake line and we'll see what we got. So we've got our new Russell line here, and I'm hoping I measured it right this time. Feed it into position here. That side of that line. Come out here. Looks like we're gonna have to space that out a little ways. It won't allow me to go on there because it's interfering with the transmission mount there. But we got lots of line here, so that was my concern. So we'll have to make a little spacer and bring that out a little bit. Just enough so that this brake line will go on there and fit proper as it should up here. All right, I only need a little spacer to bring it out. I'm gonna go look through my spacers there and see if I can find something there approximately the right length. I'll also have to get myself a longer bolt to go into the transmission case. Just another piece to change. All right, let me go see what I can find. So we got a brake line on here loosely, and try to get our plug-ins in. Go. Just start this one on here as well. Make sure those are on the contacts. And we're through there. We got no problems there. Try to keep this as straight as we can there. There we go. Now, try to snug these up. Okay, we got no interference there. We've got our safety piece in there. That looks like we got the brake lines in place, so I'm pleased with that. Not a problem. No interference. Everything looks good. And I've got a little bit extra here so that the lines aren't squeezed out or anything. I'll just We'll be putting some tie wraps and things around these to clean this up here and make sure everything's in place. So I get some tie wraps, clean that up. It should take care of everything there by the looks of it. And we won't be tightening this one up because we'll be bench bleeding this, filling it up and bench bleeding it before we use it. All right. So, next thing on our agenda, I guess, will be to make our rear brake bracket. So we'll have to go into Eleanor and cut that out. We also have to deal with our license plate bracket as well. I forgot. I'm hoping I can bring that out enough so that we're not going to interfere with the bracket. I guess we'll have to do something with that. I'm going to have to modify this as well. Make sure that it's going to fit in there. So we've got our little kickstand adjuster piece here, and I'm going to put that on to keep our kickstand off, to keep it from hitting the bottom of the primary. Now I have found that sometimes there can be a little slight interference on some of these. Make sure that that's fitting down there all the way. Just feels like it's fighting me a little bit there. So it looks like it's going to be okay there. Lock in good. Then we can just adjust this in a little bit to where we think we want it. There we go. And now we won't hit here at all. They're a great little unit for, you know, things like this, belt drives, especially if you got an open belt drive and you don't want the thing coming up on your belt, which is quite common. These little adjuster plates take care of that. I use them all the time. That takes care of that. So we've got everything set up to go again, and this time it's set up to cut out my 1/4 inch stainless steel, and I've made, brought this in a little bit, just made a couple minor changes, shortened this up a little bit because it was too long, so we're hoping it'll be all right. All right, so we're gonna get ready and cut her out. So it's Friday and nothing's going smooth for me today. I ended up cutting the piece out of stainless steel, and when I went out and got the metal the other day, I don't know what it is they gave me, but I've never had anything cut like that on my table. So I'm gonna go out and get myself, a good piece of 1/4 inch steel of the proper type that my table cuts nice and just like butter. But in the meantime, I'm gonna try and figure out what I need for spacers and where I'm going with it. So we still have to figure some of those things out. Oh, this thing's jammed up on there. I don't know what that is. I mean, the last time I went out, I tried to get some 3/16 plate. They couldn't measure up a piece of plate, save your soul. And I couldn't get what I wanted. Got something else. This one doesn't have the trim piece in the back that I've changed. So I've got to, work with my program a little bit before I cut another one. But I'll be able to use this one and figure out my spacers. And I'll cut another one, but this will probably get me through and I'll be able to drive. Now I know my holes are right. Better bolt it up here. Now we've got to figure out what I need for a spacer in there, and then where this has to bend out. Okay, so we're gonna have to do some frigging around to get a spacer in there where we want it. Make sure things are lined up straight. I'm gonna fool with it and I'll come back. So we fooled with the spacers a little bit, and I've about got where I want it. Things are tightened up. I think if it could come out a hair, I used to have little small spacer washers that I could put in there, and this stop down here, as I thought, is going to have to be bent out a little bit, so I have to take a measurement here to see how much to bend it out. I need to have free play in my pad. And I have lots on the other side there. Quite a bit. It's a slight bit there. I'm going to look around for some spacer washers for brakes because I do have some of those little shims, and see if they'd have to be ever so thin there to work for my application. And I also could remake the spacer down in there, so I could bring that spacer out 20 thousandths and that would bring it over. But it's good and solid there. So I've got some little thin brake shim washers. They were 5/16 and I need 3/8 of course. So I just put them in a lathe and opened them up a little bit. But if I put these in and it brings me over to where I want to be, then when I go to make my inside spacer, I can add 30 thousandths of an inch to it. And that should solve the problem. This will let me know whether that's too much or too little. Everything is so tight by just a hair. I'm my own worst enemy, making things with tight tolerances. A little play on that one. A little play on that one. 30 thousandths. That is gonna do it. So I think what I'll do is make an inside spacer for the bottom and add 30 thousandths of an inch to it. Bring it out this way a little bit. And we've got to try and put a bend in this. Not quite 9/16 offset, so 3/8 to 9/16 offset on this bar here. Okay, so we'll take it apart again, see if I can bend that, so I can get it where I want. I'll make myself a spacer that's got that where I want it. We should be able to put that in and run it. And when I get some decent steel, and then put it on maybe. Or maybe not. I'm just not happy with the width of the rear one here because I forgot to adjust my drawing down. But I might be able to grind some off of that and make it a little, so it's presentable. Take that off, see if we can put a bend in that where I'm trying to get it. Make a spacer that's correct and see where we are. So hey John, it's summertime now and I got my rat rod out and I just thought I might show you something. I found a place for it. So thank you very much for that special edition for my truck, and I really appreciate you sending it to me and being so unique. It really means something to me, so thank you. Have a great day. So we've put it in the press there and got myself a little bend in it there, and that should just about do it. We're pretty straight there. So we're going to try a trial fit. Now, see if we've got the bend correct. Gonna have to tighten that disc up, but I just kind of snugged it up. I didn't torque it, but now it looks like it might have a warp in it. I will have to tighten the bolts up. I know that they're just in there lightly, so they could very well not be tightened up and torqued down. So I'll have to take those off and torque them down to be sure. All right, probably can grind this down a little bit to make it a little better looking there, and spend a day with the bracket, cleaning it up and such, and it may be usable there. So it is what it is, and we're talking, just a little slight bit of a curve there to make it look more presentable. I thought I did it one of my checks there, but evidently not. But everything else is correct, so except for that disc, which may be a problem. But it's not going to be a problem today, because I'm done. I'm done for today, and I'm going to go for a ride. I'll see you tomorrow. So if you enjoyed this video today, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, do those kind of things. It helps us to grow. Be sure and check out my brothers down south, Hippie's Chopper Corner, and Slickhead's Custom Cycles. Well, nothing goes easy, as we've seen many times before, and lots of times it's like put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, change things, put it on, take it off. Such is what you run into all the time with a custom bike, or even your regular types of bikes that you're changing parts on. We'd all like to think that everything fits ideally perfect the way it should, but it's not the way it is in the world today, and it's a sad state of affairs when it comes to that, when you put a new part on and it doesn't work. But we just keep plugging ahead. You can't let it get frustrating. You just got to take a couple deep breaths and relax. Take your time, fit your parts, everything will work out fine. So next week I'm going to take the wheel off. What we're going to do is take that disc, I'm going to put it in the lathe. I'm pretty sure it's straight, but I want to see if I have a different type of problem. I'll mount the disc in the lathe, put a dial on it, make sure it's running nice and straight. I'm out 60 thousandths, which is not a lot, but I'm a little picky when it comes to those kind of things. So if I need to shim the disc or something, I can do that. But I want to make sure it runs nice and straight and that I don't have any more problems with it. And just by chance, I did get a chance to pump out a quick one this week. It's been fairly busy, but we're still not really nice weather here. It's damp and it's rainy at times, but I did manage to take some time and pump out another song. So I hope you enjoyed, and I thank you all that stick around to the end to check it out. And I see it in my analytics and stuff that people are watching it and enjoying it, so I'm pleased with that. So stick around, and I'll see you next week.
Of cake. You try this and then try that, search it out and then you wait. You can buy another part, but you can't be sure it's right. You can forge ahead and make it, could be a long and lonely night. A brake light we always need, of this there is no doubt, but the piston's stuck inside, so we try to clean it out. We try some good ideas, could be 1, 2, 3 or more, but there's just no luck at all, since there's powder in the bore. Nothing good ever comes easy, it's what they always seem to say. Another minute, another hour, and sometimes it takes all day. Breathe in and then breathe out, don't let the stresses bring you down, 'cause you know that in the end, the right solution will be found. We move on to the controls, because we got to make it right. The master cylinder's now brand new, we can see the end in sight. A custom kickstand stop is needed to protect the primary case. Yeah, it was a couple dollars, but it's not money that we waste. New brake lines all front to back, the new brackets plasma cut. Make sure the caliper's centered, it needs some shims and spacer, but once it's all put into place, another problem then appears. Could be the old brake disc or something else that's on the rear. Nothing good ever comes easy, it's what they always seem to say. Another minute, another hour, and sometimes it takes all day. Breathe in and then breathe out, don't let the stresses bring you down, 'cause you know that in the end, the The right solution will be found.